Good afternoon, everyone. We are here to talk about sermon this coming week. We have just come off our first week of our Fiction to Faith series. We looked at Star Wars last week, and this week it is Lord of the Rings is the series we'll look at. And this is probably historically a little more ancient series. It was written by Tolkien, and Tolkien was good friends with C.S. Lewis. They were actually pub buddies back in England. Actually, many years ago when I went up to Oxford, I got to actually go to the pub that Lewis and Tolkien used to exchange their scripts and their stories with one another. Just kind of cool history with Tolkien and some of the things he wrote. And many of his writings were clearly metaphorical writings overlaid with Christian and religious symbolism all throughout. And of all Tolkien's works, I'll be looking particularly this Sunday at some key pieces of the Lord of the Rings, which is that 3-movie or 3-book series. You can look at it as movies or books. It was originally a book series. It was made much later into a movie series. But one of the cool pieces about the Lord of the Rings is what I would call unlikely followers, is really kind of the underarching kind of focus of the sermon for this week. And we're going to take a look at the hobbits. The small, little, simple hobbits in the Lord of the Rings and the role that they play in this larger narrative of the Lord of the Rings. And just really fascinating how Tolkien weaves hobbits into the unfolding of the future narrative of Middle-earth in that particular line and storyline. And you'll say, what does that have to do with the Bible? And so we will look at some of the surprising ways that people become followers of Jesus. Our passage this week will be from the Gospel of Luke in the 8th chapter. And we know that Jesus gathers the disciples to follow him. But one of the unique things about Jesus in first century world is we know beyond just the 12 disciples that Jesus has a larger following of people that travel with him from place to place. And some of those followers are women, and we pick that up in the 8th chapter of Luke. And many might call that surprising disciples to have women join the men as part of that larger band of people that follow and carry out the work of Jesus in the world. Would have been very surprising in first century world, and even in some traditions of Christianity for women to be significant leaders is a challenge. But we will look at how Lord of the Rings and the role of the hobbits and Jesus calling of followers to follow, and not only follow but lead in this movement of building up God's people. I think it should be a fascinating story as we look into the Lord of the Rings, as we look at the Gospel of Luke, as we look at what it means to be a follower of Jesus. So I hope you'll join us on Sunday this week as we continue our Fiction to Faith series.